Imagine a world where every human being carries within them the hum of the cosmos. We live in an age of unprecedented technological marvels, machines that think, networks that connect, and telescopes that peer into the farthest reaches of the universe, but at the same time, billions of people experience profound loneliness, anxiety, and confusion. In the midst of all our achievements, there are these tiny, inexplicable signals moments that prick at our awareness. One of them is the subtle ringing in your ears. Have you noticed it? That high-pitched hum, that fleeting vibration in silence, like the universe whispering secrets just beyond your reach. We often dismiss it. A doctor might call tinnitus a medical anomaly, a quirk of biology. But what if there's more? What if that ringing is a note in the symphony of existence, a subtle vibration connecting the inner machinery of your body to the immensity of the cosmos? Could it be, in its own humble way, an invitation, an echo of your consciousness brushing against something far larger than yourself? To understand this, let us consider the universe itself. Space is not empty. Far from it. It hums with radiation, it resonates with gravitational waves, and even the very vacuum of space teems with quantum fluctuations. Stars, in their violent births and silent deaths, sing a song of energy and transformation. And here we are, tiny, conscious observers, occasionally hearing a whisper of this cosmic rhythm in the microcosm of our own bodies. Now, some of you might ask, what does this have to do with spiritual significance? How can a phenomenon of biology reflect something so grand? And yet, the patterns are there. Dolores Cannon, an extraordinary researcher of consciousness, believed that such subtle signals, the ringing in our ears, were not random. They were doorways. Vibrational shifts in the human experience, gentle nudges that our awareness is expanding, that our perception is evolving. The first significance is vibrational awakening. Imagine your body as an antenna tuned to the frequencies of the universe. When the ringing occurs, it may indicate that your internal vibration is rising, your consciousness is aligning with subtler, higher states of awareness. In physics, we understand resonance. When one system vibrates at the natural frequency of another, energy transfers effortlessly. Could it be that your consciousness is resonating with the universe, and that subtle hum is the feedback you feel as your system recalibrates? The second significance is communication from higher intelligence. Across cultures, from the shamans of the Amazon to the mystics of the Himalayas, there is the belief that subtle signals, light flashes, tingling sensations, whispers carry guidance from realms beyond ordinary perception. The ringing in the ears could be a language, a code not yet deciphered by our conscious minds, offering insight or warning. Here is the philosophical question. If the universe communicates, and we occasionally hear it, what responsibility do we have to listen and to act on what we perceive? Third, consider energetic shifts within the self. Modern science increasingly recognizes that the human body is not just matter, but energy. Electrical impulses govern our neurons, chemical gradients drive our cells, and electromagnetic fields radiate from our very organs. Could the ringing signify a moment of energetic realignment, a clearing of old patterns and a harmonization of internal forces? Perhaps it is the body's subtle way of saying, attention, transformation is underway. Fourth, there is the activation of intuitive or psychic perception. Here we tread the thin line between science and philosophy. The pineal gland, small pine cone shaped, deep in the center of the brain, has long been associated with perception beyond the ordinary. Some studies suggest it can respond to electromagnetic fields. Some spiritual traditions see it as the seat of intuition. Could the ringing in our ears be a signal that this part of our being is tuning in, that our ability to perceive the unseen is awakening in rhythm with the universe itself? And finally, the fifth significance is alignment and balance. Life, like the cosmos, thrives on equilibrium. From planetary orbits to neural feedback loops, stability emerges from harmonious interaction. When the ringing resonates in your ears, it may reflect an alignment of the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of your being. It is a gentle reminder that to live fully, we must attune ourselves not just to the universe, but to each other and to the values that define our shared humanity. In each of these interpretations, there is a message: personal responsibility. The universe may whisper, but it does not act for us. Awareness is the beginning, but action is the key. The ringing, subtle as it is, asks us to notice, to reflect, to recalibrate, and to engage with life in a more conscious way. And here is where science and spirituality converge. We are, after all, made of the same stuff as stars. The carbon in our bodies, the oxygen we breathe, the iron in our blood, all forged in stellar furnaces billions of years ago. The universe is not external to us. It is within us. When we feel that ringing, perhaps it is not a message from somewhere else, it is a message from ourselves, attuned to the cosmic web in which we exist. So let's begin by zooming in on vibrational awakening, the first significance. Imagine yourself in a quiet room, the hum of electricity from a nearby device, the only sound you hear. Then, almost imperceptibly, a faint ringing arises not from the world around you, but from within. The phenomenon itself is subtle, but its implications are profound. In physics, when an object resonates at its natural frequency, energy flows freely, amplifying certain vibrations. Could it be, then, that our consciousness itself is resonating with the universe? That subtle ringing is a whisper, a cosmic tuning fork, reminding us that our inner vibrations are increasing, that our awareness is expanding. Now consider this. We are living in an era where information travels at the speed of light, where a quantum of energy can influence distant particles through entanglement. And yet, despite our technological prowess, we are often deaf to subtler frequencies, those that come from the universe and from within ourselves. The ringing in your ears may be your mind and body, trying to adjust to these new levels of awareness. In a way, it is an intimate dialogue with the cosmos, inviting you to listen closely. Dolores Cannon described these shifts as markers of spiritual growth, but let us consider them scientifically as well. When you meditate, your brain produces electrical activity that resonates in specific frequency bands, alpha, theta, delta. Could the ringing in your ears be an audible manifestation of this internal resonance, a signal that your mind is operating at a frequency higher than your ordinary waking state? Perhaps it is both spiritual and physical, a convergence of internal vibrational states with the subtle energies of the world around us. And so the first question emerges: if you are vibrating in tune with the universe, what are you going to do with that awareness? The ringing is not just a signal, it is an opportunity to notice, to reflect, and to act. In a universe defined by laws and patterns, consciousness is rare, and the chance to grow it even rarer. Listening, then, becomes not just a curiosity, it becomes a responsibility. The second significance is communication from higher intelligence. Across centuries, civilizations have interpreted subtle sensory phenomena, flashes of light, tingles, sounds, as messages from realms beyond ordinary perception. And here, the ringing in your ears may be one of those messages. Not everyone interprets it consciously. For some, it passes unnoticed, drowned out by the noise of daily life. But for those who pay attention, it can feel like a gentle nudge, a hint from something larger than themselves. Let's consider an astrophysical metaphor: pulsars. These neutron stars spin with incredible precision, emitting beams of radiation like cosmic lighthouses. To an untrained observer, they might seem random, even insignificant, but to an astronomer, they're messages in the night, patterns that reveal the workings of the universe itself. Similarly, your ear ringing could be a pulsar in the landscape of your consciousness, a periodic signal, subtle but meaningful, designed to be interpreted by a mind willing to observe, to decode, and to learn. Dolores Cannon suggested that these signals could be guidance from spirit guides or higher consciousness, gentle reminders that we are not alone in our journey. And even if we examine this scientifically, the notion isn't entirely implausible. Human brains are extraordinarily sensitive to patterns. They are primed to recognize signals in chaos. Perhaps the ringing is a pattern we are learning to decode, a wake-up call, to notice, to align, and to reflect. The philosophical question arises: if the universe speaks, how do we choose to respond? The ringing does not demand a reaction, but it offers one. It whispers possibilities rather than absolutes, urging us to pause and consider the larger narrative of our lives in relation to the cosmos. Next, let's explore energetic shifts within the self. Consider that your body is not just biological, it is an energetic system. Electrical impulses, magnetic fields, and biochemical reactions interact continuously, producing a dynamic dance of energy. When blockages occur, or when energy is redistributed, the subtle feedback can sometimes be perceived as ringing in the ears. Imagine it like the fine-tuning of a musical instrument. Slight adjustments produce vibrations that you can feel as resonance, even if they are invisible. DeGrasse Tyson described these energetic shifts as signs of spiritual development. From a scientific perspective, we might view it as neurophysiological recalibration. Perhaps the subtle ringing is the byproduct of your nervous system adapting to a heightened state of awareness as your brainwaves shift and your body adjusts to new levels of energy. Regardless of interpretation, the outcome is the same. These signals indicate movement, change, transformation, a reminder that stagnation is unnatural in both life and in the universe. This brings us to the fourth significance: activation of intuitive or psychic perception. Here, science and philosophy meet in an intriguing crossroads. The pineal gland, often called the third eye, is a small organ, but its symbolic and biological significance is enormous. Some researchers suggest it responds to electromagnetic stimuli, while spiritual traditions associate it with higher consciousness and intuition. The ringing in your ears may be a subtle manifestation of this organ awakening, a physical clue that your perception is expanding beyond the ordinary, inviting you to explore your latent capacities for insight and understanding. The beauty of this idea is that it is empowering. If the universe offers you these subtle frequencies, it is also offering the ability to interpret them. It asks for curiosity, for reflection, for action. Like observing distant galaxies through a telescope, we may not fully understand what we are seeing at first, but the act of observation transforms us, opening our minds to new possibilities. Finally, we arrive at alignment and balance, perhaps the most practical of all the significances. The universe itself thrives on equilibrium. Planets orbit stars because of a delicate balance between inertia and gravity. Ecosystems persist when energy flows freely, and human societies flourish when cooperation and understanding create stability. When you experience ringing in your ears, it could be a subtle signal that your physical, mental, and spiritual energies are coming into harmony, or that they are out of sync and recalibration is needed. Consider the throat chakra in spiritual teachings, associated with communication and self-expression. The ringing in your ears may be urging you to speak your truth, to listen carefully, to find equilibrium between thought and action, internal reflection and external engagement. DeGrasse Tyson emphasized balance as central to spiritual growth, and modern science reinforces this. Stress, misaligned habits, and unbalanced lifestyles manifest physically, neurologically, and emotionally. The subtle ringing is perhaps a reminder from the universe that alignment is not optional, it is essential. And so the lesson emerges from these five significances: vibration, communication, energy, intuition, and alignment. Each point reminds us that we are not passive observers of the universe, but active participants. Every subtle signal, the high-pitched hum in your ears, the whisper of a thought, the flicker of a feeling is an invitation to pay attention, to act consciously, to embrace personal responsibility. We are connected not only to the cosmos, but to each other, and our actions ripple outward in ways both visible and invisible. Imagine it this way. The atoms in your body were forged in stars billions of years ago. You are, in a literal sense, the universe observing itself. When you hear that ringing, it is a conversation between the macrocosm and the microcosm, a reminder that you are a node in a network that spans space and time. The hum is not a warning. It is a call to wonder, to reflection, to growth. In a world of rapid change, where technology outruns our wisdom, where information is abundant but meaning is scarce, these subtle signals are ear-ringing, are opportunities to pause and recalibrate. They ask, how do we want to live? What responsibilities do we have to ourselves, to others, and to the cosmos? Can we find balance in chaos, clarity in noise, and purpose in the infinite? And here, I would end the cinematic YouTube voiceover with something that feels like a Neil deGrasse Tyson signature. A reflective, empowering, close, grounded in science, but infused with cosmic wonder. So listen, not just with your ears, but with your mind and heart. When the universe whispers, let it guide your thoughts and actions. When you feel that subtle ringing, remember, you are vibrating with the cosmos, capable of insight, aligned with energy, attuned to intuition, and called to balance. The message is simple, yet profound. Pay attention, take responsibility, and act consciously in the world. Because in doing so, you honor the universe within you and the universe outside you, and you participate in the grand, ongoing dance of existence. And in that dance, every vibration, every subtle hum, every fleeting whisper matters. So let's linger for a moment on the first significance, vibrational awakening. We live in an era where every second, billions of electrons are racing through circuits, billions of photons are bouncing from screens into our eyes, and countless vibrations, both seen and unseen, course through the Earth. And yet, amidst all that energy, our human perception is remarkably limited. Most of the time, we ignore subtle frequencies, the gentle hum of our own consciousness. But when that ringing emerges in your ears, it's as if the universe itself is nudging you. Pay attention. It is an echo of something larger than yourself, a reminder that you are part of a network of energy that extends beyond your immediate awareness. Think of a tuning fork in a dark room. Strike it, and the air begins to vibrate, even in places you cannot see. Objects near the fork respond. The sound propagates invisibly. In a similar way, your own consciousness is a tuning fork resonating with the universe. The ringing is not a nuisance, it is a signal of alignment, a reminder that your mind is vibrating in tune with something beyond your ordinary perception. Dolores Cannon suggested that these moments are markers of spiritual growth, but you can also consider them scientific events. The body responding to internal and external energy shifts, your nervous system and brain recalibrating to a higher frequency. Here's the philosophical question. If you are vibrating in harmony with the universe, how do you respond? Do you ignore it, distracted by the noise of daily life? Or do you pause, reflect, and act? Every hum, every subtle sound is an opportunity to grow. The universe doesn't just whisper for the sake of it, it whispers so that you might awaken to your own potential, to the possibilities inherent in your consciousness. Moving on to the second significance, communication from higher intelligence. Across time and cultures, humans have interpreted subtle phenomena, sounds, visions, or feelings as messages from something greater than themselves. Consider the pulsars I mentioned earlier. These spinning neutron stars beam out radiation with remarkable precision. To an observer on Earth, they are constant, repeating signals in the vast cosmic dark. What if your ears are picking up a similar kind of signal, not from a distant star, but from the energetic fabric that connects consciousness across time and space? Dolores Cannon proposed that these signals might be communications from spirit guides or higher consciousness. But let's also consider it from a scientific perspective. Your brain is extraordinarily sensitive to patterns. It thrives on detecting order amidst chaos. The ringing may be a subtle pattern, a nudge from your own consciousness, or a reflection of the universal structure of reality. Either way, the moment you recognize it, a question arises: how will you respond to the universe when it speaks? Science tells us that understanding a signal requires attention, curiosity, and context. Philosophy reminds us that interpretation carries responsibility, and together they suggest that even the smallest whisper, if heeded, can influence the trajectory of your life. Now, let's explore the third significance: energetic shifts within the self. Our bodies are not merely biological machines, they are energetic systems. Every heartbeat, every neuron firing, every breath generates waves of energy. When these energies shift, whether through meditation, stress, excitement, or transformation, subtle signals manifest. Some people perceive these shifts as tingles, vibrations, or ringing in their ears. Think of it like a finely tuned instrument adjusting its strings to produce harmony. The ringing is a feedback loop, an internal indicator that your energetic system is recalibrating. Dolores Cannon described these shifts as signs of spiritual evolution, and science does not contradict her entirely. Neuroplasticity shows us that the brain can reorganize itself in response to stimuli. Biochemistry reveals how energy moves and transforms within cells. And physics reminds us that matter itself is vibration. In this light, the subtle ringing is both spiritual and physical, a bridge between your inner experience and the larger cosmos. It is a signal that change is occurring, that growth is inevitable, and that your conscious attention is required. The fourth significance, activation of intuitive or psychic perception. This is where science and philosophy intersect most dramatically. The pineal gland, often dubbed the third eye, is a small organ, but one with profound symbolic resonance. In some research, it responds to light and electromagnetic fields. In spiritual traditions, it represents heightened awareness. The ringing in your ears may signal the activation of this organ, an awakening of your capacity to perceive realities beyond your ordinary senses. Think about it this way. Throughout human history, perception has always expanded in response to new frequencies of information. When humans first observed the stars and devised mathematics to understand them, their awareness expanded. When you begin to perceive subtler patterns through intuition, synchronicity, or insight, the ringing might be the first acknowledgement of this new perceptual capacity. Dolores Cannon suggested that these frequencies awaken latent psychic abilities. Whether you interpret it spiritually or scientifically, the principle remains. Consciousness is expanding, and the universe is inviting you to explore new dimensions of awareness. Finally, the fifth significance, alignment and balance. The universe thrives on equilibrium. Planets orbit because forces are balanced. Ecosystems persist because energy flows freely. Humans flourish when mind, body, and spirit align. When you hear ringing in your ears, it may indicate that this alignment is occurring, or that it is necessary. Perhaps your internal energies are harmonizing, your consciousness tuning itself to a frequency of balance. Or perhaps the signal is a call to action, to correct, recalibrate, or harmonize your thoughts, habits, and environment. Dolores Cannon emphasized balance as essential to spiritual growth. Modern science confirms it. Imbalance manifests as stress, illness, or misalignment of focus and action. In this context, the subtle ringing becomes a guide. It asks you to pause and reflect. Am I aligned? Am I in balance with myself and the world around me? How can I harmonize the energies within to resonate with the greater frequencies of life? So when we weave together these five significances, vibration, communication, energy, intuition, and alignment, a powerful insight emerges. The subtle ringing in your ears is not a trivial anomaly. It is a message, a tool, a mirror, and a teacher. It reminds you that you are a participant in the universe, not merely an observer. It invites you to take responsibility for your attention, your energy, and your actions. Remember, the atoms in your body were forged in the cores of ancient stars. You are literally stardust contemplating itself. The universe that birthed galaxies, planets, and stars now hums through you, quietly, insistently, waiting for your acknowledgement. Every vibration, every whisper, every subtle hum is an opportunity to notice, to reflect, to grow, and to act. And here is the final reflection. In a world inundated with information, distraction, and noise, the universe still finds ways to reach you. The ringing in your ears is a cosmic handshake, a reminder that your life is interconnected with forces both visible and invisible. It is a call to wake up, to align, to engage, and to contribute meaningfully to the world around you. So listen, not just with your ears, but with your mind and your heart. Pay attention to the whispers, the vibrations, the signals. Take responsibility for your actions, your thoughts, and your energy. Align yourself with the frequencies of life, and in doing so, honor the universe within and around you. Because when you do, you will discover something extraordinary, that your life is not isolated, your choices are not trivial, and your consciousness is a bridge between the stars and the moments you inhabit here on Earth. And that, perhaps, is the greatest adventure of all. And yet, in the midst of this profound interconnectedness, there lies a paradox, one that humanity has wrestled with since the dawn of conscious thought. We are the most technologically advanced species in the history of our planet, capable of splitting atoms, launching spacecraft beyond the solar system, and decoding the very language of DNA, and yet we are often oblivious to the subtle energies humming in our own ears. We measure gravitational waves from colliding black holes billions of light years away, and we analyze neutrinos streaming through our bodies from the heart of the sun, but a faint, persistent ringing in your ear, a signal perhaps far closer to the source of consciousness itself, can go unnoticed, dismissed, or medicated away. The universe, in its infinite subtlety, is speaking to us, and we often fail to listen. Here lies a lesson that Dolores Cannon, in her exploration of metaphysics, articulated in her own way, that consciousness is not separate from the cosmos, it is part of its fundamental fabric. And in those moments of ear ringing, when attention shifts from distraction to presence, the veil lifts just slightly. Perhaps this is not merely a spiritual metaphor, perhaps it is also a scientific observation, that awareness itself, like a tuning fork, resonates with the universe, vibrating in harmony or dissonance with the energies surrounding us. Consider the vastness of the cosmos. Our sun, an ordinary star in an unremarkable galaxy, orbits a galaxy of hundreds of billions of stars. That galaxy, in turn, is part of a cosmic web of hundreds of billions of galaxies. And yet, somewhere within this vast cosmic lattice, there is you. You, a collection of atoms that were born in the furnaces of supernovae, are conscious, and within you, subtle vibrations ripple through your nervous system signals, some of which manifest as ringing in your ears, whispers from the universe itself. This awareness, this consciousness, is not a trivial phenomenon. It is rare. It is precious. It is a gift of the cosmos, and it carries with it responsibility. If you are sensitive to the ringing, if you notice the vibrations, it is the universe inviting you to observe, to reflect, to act. And action is not just a matter of physical movement, it is a matter of alignment. Alignment with yourself, with your community, and with the energy of the cosmos. Now, let's pause and consider something subtle yet profound. The frequency of this ringing is not accidental. Science tells us that everything vibrates. At the quantum level, particles are never at rest. Their energy fluctuates. At the macroscopic level, planets orbit in predictable resonances, stars pulsate, and galaxies spiral. When you hear a ringing in your ears, you are, in effect, experiencing a resonance, a physical phenomenon, manifesting as a signal of energy and frequency. But at the same time, this resonance can be symbolic, philosophical, and spiritual. The universe communicates in patterns, and to perceive those patterns, one must attune oneself, just as a radio must be tuned to a specific frequency to receive a distant broadcast. Here lies the bridge between science and philosophy. The ringing is both a physical signal and a metaphor. It reminds us that all perception is mediated by the structures of consciousness, and that the boundaries between mind, body, and universe are more porous than we often imagine. Dolores Cannon urged us to see these moments as invitations. Invitations to notice the unseen, to act with awareness, and to integrate our personal growth into the greater flow of life. And so we arrive at the point where the cosmic meets the personal, where the metaphysical converges with the practical. The ringing in your ears is not just a curiosity. It is a teacher. It asks, are you present? Are you aligned? Are you attuned not only to the energies within your body, but also to the energy of the world around you? Because if consciousness is a bridge between the self and the universe, then awareness is the pathway across it. We can take this further. Science has taught us that all things are connected. Biochemistry reveals networks of signaling molecules that maintain life. Ecology demonstrates that species and ecosystems are interdependent. Astrophysics reminds us that gravity links the orbits of planets across light years. The ringing in your ears is a microcosmic reflection of this interconnectedness. It is a tiny vibration echoing the cosmic web, a whisper reminding us that our actions, our thoughts, our words, our choices resonate far beyond our immediate perception. Dolores Cannon explored the idea that each vibration carries meaning. Some vibrations signal personal growth, others signal awakening of intuition, and some are invitations to recalibrate life toward balance. But beyond individual meaning, there is universal significance. We are each nodes in an intricate, energetic network. Every action we take, every choice we make, creates ripples in this vast, interwoven system. The ringing in your ears is a call to mindfulness, a reminder that the universe is listening as much as you are listening to it. And here is the final philosophical reflection. When you learn to notice these subtle signals, you learn a fundamental truth about existence, that reality is layered, that time and space are intertwined, that consciousness is not confined to the brain, but flows through the body and outward into the cosmos. Every signal, every subtle ringing, is an opportunity to step into this awareness, to recognize the profound responsibility that comes with being alive in a universe that is both beautiful and indifferent. So what is the call to action? It is not grandiose, it is not dramatic, it is simply this. Notice, align, act. Let the vibrations guide your attention toward clarity, toward compassion, toward growth. Harmonize with the energies within and around you. Communicate clearly, act ethically, and live consciously. Because in the end, the universe doesn't require your attention, it offers it. And in that offer lies both privilege and responsibility. As you continue through life, you may forget the subtle ringing. You may dismiss it as noise, but every once in a while, pause, listen, reflect. Consider that each subtle hum may be the cosmos extending a hand, inviting you to recognize your place in a universe that is quite literally alive with energy, information, and possibility. And when you heed that call, you participate not only in your own growth, but in the unfolding story of the cosmos itself. The atoms in your body, once scattered across exploding stars, now vibrate in your nervous system. The universe whispers through these atoms, through these vibrations, and through your awareness. And if you listen carefully, if you respond thoughtfully, you will find that your life resonates not in isolation, but in concert with the vast symphony of existence. This is the message of the ringing in your ears. It is a bridge between the seen and unseen, the physical and spiritual, the scientific and philosophical. It is a reminder of connection, of responsibility, and of wonder. And in attending to it, you take your place as a conscious participant in the unfolding universe. So next time you hear that subtle hum, pause. Remember that you are listening to something larger than yourself. Align your mind, your heart, and your actions. Be aware, be present, and let the resonance of your own life contribute to the harmony of existence. Because in the end, the universe is not just out there, it is in you, around you, and through you. And in every subtle vibration, every whisper of energy, it calls you to awaken, to act, and to become more fully alive in the cosmic story. And so, as we reflect on these subtle hums, these vibrations within our ears, let us not dismiss them as trivial, because every small signal, every faint resonance carries with it a universe of meaning. Just as a quasar, billions of light years away, emits a focused beam of light that reaches us across cosmic time, so too do these inner vibrations beam insight into our consciousness. We are, each of us, cosmic instruments. Our senses, our neurons, our very atoms, remnants of ancient supernovae, are tuned to receive patterns, to respond to frequency. In the ringing of our ears, we can hear the echo of creation itself, the symphony of the cosmos condensed into something intimate, something personal. And what does it ask of us? Not to marvel alone, not to observe as a detached spectator, but to participate, to take the awareness it brings and transform it into action, insight, and connection. Dolores Cannon often spoke about vibrational frequency, not just as a concept of energy, but as a measure of awareness. The higher the frequency, the more attuned one becomes to subtle signals, to synchronicities, to the whispers of life that guide us toward growth. In a way, the ringing in our ears can be considered a barometer of consciousness, a reminder that the universe is not silent, and that the threads connecting us to the cosmos are woven with both energy and intention. Pause for a moment and imagine it. The universe as a network of vibrating strings, from the tiniest quantum fields to the spiral arms of galaxies. And here we are, conscious nodes within that network, capable of perceiving, interpreting, and amplifying its frequencies. If we remain heedless, we miss the chance to align ourselves with this cosmic symphony. But when we listen, truly listen, even the smallest hum can become a guiding light. And yet, the hum itself is not the message, it is the signal of possibility. It is an invitation to notice, to reflect, to ask questions about your life, your purpose, your connection to everything around you. It asks, how will you respond to the awareness that life is a network, that energy flows, that consciousness itself is rare and precious? Will you move through life passively, like a stone drifting in a river? Or will you step into the current, aligning your actions with the rhythm of the universe, contributing to the harmony of existence? The answer is not given by the ringing. It is discovered by you. And therein lies the most profound lesson. Awareness is only the first step. Insight is only the spark. Action is where transformation occurs. We are, as a species, at a point in history where understanding the universe is easier than ever, yet aligning our actions with that understanding remains a challenge. The ringing in our ears, subtle and persistent, reminds us that growth, both personal and collective, requires conscious engagement. Consider for a moment the ripple effect of such engagement. One individual attuned to their own vibrations, mindful of their energy, capable of empathy and deliberate action, can influence countless others. Just as gravitational waves ripple across space-time, so too do conscious acts propagate across social and environmental networks. The ringing, then, is not just an inner signal. It is a call to responsibility, a reminder that our awareness is entwined with consequences, both seen and unseen. Dolores Cannon suggested that these vibrational cues often precede moments of insight, of clarity, of transformation. And science, too, provides a parallel. In neuroscience, subtle shifts in brain activity often precede conscious recognition. Subtle changes in frequency guiding our perception before awareness catches up. There is harmony between the inner and outer worlds, between the metaphysical and the physical, between intuition and evidence. And in that harmony lies possibility, the possibility to live consciously, to act intentionally, to become a participant in the ongoing story of the cosmos rather than a passive observer. This brings us to the final and most essential point: connection. The ringing in your ears is, in essence, a reminder that you are never truly alone. You are connected to your body, to your mind, to your community, and to the universe itself. The same cosmic forces that govern the dance of planets and stars govern your own energetic flow. The hum of the universe resonates within you, and when you act with awareness, you resonate back. And here is where science, philosophy, and spirit converge. Everything in the cosmos is interdependent. Every action, every thought, every choice sends ripples outward, affecting systems and beings far beyond our perception. The ringing in your ears is a subtle yet profound reminder of that interdependence, a tiny whisper from the universe urging you to recognize your place, your responsibility, and your potential to contribute to something larger than yourself. So, what should you do with this awareness? First, listen. Listen with curiosity, with humility, with presence. Notice when the universe speaks, whether through sound, intuition, or circumstance. Second, reflect. Consider what the signals are asking. Where are you misaligned? Where can you act more consciously, more ethically, more compassionately? Third, act. Transform awareness into responsibility, insight into contribution, understanding into meaningful participation in the web of life. In the end, the ringing in your ears is more than a phenomenon. It is a teacher. It is a bridge between the tangible and the intangible, the observable and the profound. It reminds us that consciousness is rare, that life is precious, and that awareness carries both privilege and duty. And if we respond with care, with curiosity, and with courage, we step into our role as conscious participants in a vast, unfolding universe. So, as you move through your days, when you hear that subtle, persistent hum, pause. Listen, reflect, align, and then act. Act in ways that honor your connection to the universe, to your community, and to yourself. Because in every vibration, in every whisper, in every subtle signal, the universe is inviting you to awaken, to realize that life is not merely a sequence of events, but a symphony in which you are both listener and performer, observer and contributor. And if you choose to heed this call, if you choose to live with awareness and purpose, then the ringing in your ears transforms from a simple hum into a cosmic compass, guiding you toward alignment, toward balance, and toward the profound realization that you, in your very consciousness, are part of something extraordinary, the ongoing story of existence itself. And that, my friends, is the power hidden in the hum. It is subtle, it is persistent, it is profound, and it is yours to listen to interpret, and to act upon. Because the universe, in its infinite complexity, has not only given you the capacity to wonder, but also the responsibility to act on that wonder, to harmonize with the cosmic rhythm, and to contribute meaningfully to the unfolding tapestry of life. And yet, despite the subtlety of this phenomenon, the ringing in your ears is not trivial. It is a whisper from the universe, an echo of the intricate symphony in which we all participate. Consider for a moment that every atom in your body was forged in the heart of a star. The carbon in your cells, the calcium in your bones, the iron coursing through your veins, they are literally stardust, remnants of cosmic explosions that occurred billions of years before humans walked the earth. And now, these ancient particles have come together to form consciousness capable of contemplating itself. If that isn't remarkable, if that doesn't invite wonder, then perhaps we need to reconsider what it means to exist in this universe. The ringing in your ears, subtle though it may be, is a frequency, a signal that connects you to this cosmic heritage. It is as if the universe itself is reminding you, you are not separate. You are of me, and I am of you. Everything is interconnected, vibrating together in a rhythm older than time itself. In a world dominated by distraction, by constant noise and urgency, these vibrations are an invitation to pause, to reflect, to remember that awareness is a gift, and how we use it defines not just our lives, but the lives of countless others. Dolores Cannon taught that such subtle frequencies are tied to spiritual awakening, to the expansion of consciousness. But let us also consider this from a scientific perspective. The universe operates on waves and vibrations at every scale, from the quantum fluctuations that underpin reality to the gravitational waves that ripple across the cosmos. Perhaps what we perceive in our ears is simply another scale of that vast interwoven structure of energy. The metaphor is perfect. Our inner vibrations echo the outer universe. What we perceive in ourselves reflects what exists everywhere. And if that is true, then the ringing in your ears is not just a personal signal, it is a call to alignment, to attune oneself to the greater harmony of existence. Because if the universe is indeed a web of interconnected vibrations, then every thought, every action, every choice we make resonates outward. Imagine the impact of a single life lived consciously, with awareness and purpose. One act of kindness, one decision to seek understanding over judgment, one choice to act for the common good. These ripple outward like gravitational waves, subtle but real. The ringing reminds us, we are not passive observers, we are participants. It is humbling, of course, to consider that our lives are threads in a vast cosmic tapestry. And yet, there is empowerment in that humility. To recognize that you are made of stardust, that your consciousness can influence the world, is to realize your potential for meaningful action. The subtle vibrations in your ears are a reminder of that potential, a gentle nudge from the universe to step into the role it has uniquely prepared for you. And here lies the paradox. We are small, fragile beings, but within us lies the capacity to understand the universe, to reflect on our place within it, and to act with purpose. This is the gift of consciousness, the ability to convert awareness into action, knowledge into wisdom, vibration into resonance. Dolores Cannon emphasized that these spiritual signs, these nudges from the unseen, are opportunities. They are invitations to grow, to harmonize with higher frequencies, and to align our actions with our evolving understanding of existence. The question then is not simply, why am I hearing this? But rather, what will I do with this awareness? Will it pass unnoticed, like background noise in a busy city? Or will it guide you toward a life of intentionality, reflection, and contribution? In a universe governed by laws of physics, patterns emerge. In a human life governed by awareness, patterns also emerge. The ringing is one of those patterns, subtle, almost imperceptible, yet carrying a significance that can change the trajectory of a life if acknowledged. And so we return to responsibility, not moralizing responsibility, but the profound responsibility inherent in consciousness itself. To be aware is to be accountable to yourself, to others, and to the universe that made you. The ringing in your ears is a reminder of that accountability. It whispers of potential, possibility, and connection. It urges you to act, not because you must, but because you are capable. Not because the universe demands it, but because in acting consciously, you participate in the ongoing evolution of existence itself. We are each of us, both observer and participant, both witness and actor, both questioner and answer. The subtle hum in your ears is a call to recognize this duality, to embrace it, and to live intentionally. In doing so, you honor the cosmos that gave you life, the people with whom you share it, and the consciousness that allows you to perceive it all. And here is the most remarkable part. You are not alone in this. Every person who has paused to listen to their inner vibrations, every individual who has reflected on the interconnectedness of life, contributes to a collective consciousness, a shared understanding that transcends boundaries, cultures, and generations. The universe speaks through each of us, and when we listen, when we act, we become co-creators in the unfolding story of existence. So the next time you hear that subtle ringing in your ears, do not dismiss it. Do not ignore it. Pause, reflect, and listen. Consider the messages it carries about your growth, your alignment, and your potential. Consider how your actions, your intentions, your awareness resonate with the broader fabric of life. And then act. Act with intention, with curiosity, with humility, and with courage. Because in the end, the universe is not silent. It speaks in vibrations, in frequencies, in patterns that we can perceive if we are attentive. It speaks through the stars, through the atoms of our being, and yes, through the ringing in our ears. And when we answer, not with passive observation, but with conscious action, we become part of something magnificent, a living, breathing, resonating universe that is aware of itself through us. And that, my friends, is the extraordinary truth hidden in the hum. It is subtle, persistent, profound. It is a signal, a guide, a teacher, and it asks only one thing, that you listen, reflect, and act. Because the universe is not waiting, it is speaking, and it has chosen you to hear. So, the next time you hear that faint ringing in your ears, don't brush it off as mere background noise. It's a reminder, subtle, persistent, and profound, that you are part of something vastly greater than yourself. That vibration you hear is not just in your ears, it's in the very atoms that make up your body, in the remnants of stars that exploded billions of years ago, scattering the elements that eventually became you. You are, quite literally, a child of the cosmos, listening to the echoes of its own creation. And here's the remarkable thing. The universe doesn't just exist out there in the vastness of space. It exists in you, in your thoughts, your actions, and your curiosity. Every time you pause to reflect, every time you choose understanding over indifference, every time you reach out with empathy, rather than judgment. You are participating in the universe, becoming conscious of itself. That ringing, that subtle hum, it's not just sound. It's the universe whispering, notice me, engage, wonder, act. We are small, we are fleeting, and yet in the grand cosmic ledger, we matter because we are aware, and awareness carries responsibility. Not the weight of guilt, but the freedom to act meaningfully, to connect, and to create ripples that extend far beyond our immediate perception. So listen closely, not just with your ears, but with your mind and your heart. Tune into the vibrations of life, of energy, of possibility, and let them guide you not to fear, not to awe alone, but to a life of curiosity, compassion, and courage. Because in the end, the universe is not silent. It's speaking constantly in the language of stars, in the hum of particles, in the ringing of your ears. And if we are willing to listen and then act, we may discover that the most profound truths are not out there among the galaxies, but right here in our choices, our awareness, and the way we engage with the cosmos through this simple, powerful act of living. And that, my friends, is the most astonishing thing of all. The universe is not just out there, it's in you. And has been waiting for you to notice,